Okay, so we've seen that we can just enter gcli commands directly into the CLI and run them that way. Why are we writing scripts? Well, there's a variety of reasons. Number one, a script allows us to run a sequence of commands. So perhaps as part of your process, you want to run unit tests and then you want to run your build. A script lets us do that. The other thing is you don't have to remember the syntax every time. You write it once, you put it in a script, and then you just call the script. So you have to remember all the various parameters that you need to pass. Another reason is it can act as documentation. So if an auditor comes and says, how do you build your application? You can say, here's our script that lists all the steps that we do and all the parameters that we pass. That script can also be versioned alongside your code. So we're going to keep that script in our Git repository alongside our code. Git's really good at managing text files. And so it's just a text file. So we're going to put that alongside our code and we can manage changes to it in Git. It also allows you to run the same commands locally as we do on our CI machine. So we're going to have a build script, and that build script, we can run it locally. And we can also, in our CI environment, we can tell our CI runner to run that on the CI runner. And when we're talking about CI, as we'll see, and I mentioned it, but we'll see this later, you can write individual bash commands in the YAML file. So there's a script section and you can just write gcli, lunit, whatever parameters you need to pass. You can write that right in the YAML. And that's fine and it works. And we may even do that for our simple hello world example. The problem is that YAML has certain parsing rules for how it parses white space and special characters, and Bash has its own rules for how it parses white space and special characters and new lines and things like that. And sometimes they conflict and it results in really weird things happening and it's difficult to diagnose. So if you put all your bash commands into a script file, then in our YAML file, all we have to do is ./myscript.sh and it'll run the script, and the script file itself can have all the weird bash syntax at once in there and special characters, and the YAML file doesn't care. And the YAML parser never sees all that. And so that is probably one of the big reasons to put everything into a script, because it makes our YAML file much simpler. And it avoids a lot of problems with the YAML parser, which is quite finicky. Definitely when we get into the YAML file stuff, like spaces and indentation matter a lot. And if you screw that up, it's going to cause you problems. So